I remember in yeshiva, there are certain jokes that you could make because everyone theoretically was on a similar page. We were learning in tandem or in sync. There was a curriculum that we were all following. The language in the halls of the yeshiva, in the classroom, even in the dorms, there was something about living life in a coherent and cohesive way that put us all on the same page. So you could also make certain jokes that everybody got because it's good to have a common vernacular, common language for joking. So I'm going to offer the joke now, which it takes some explaining for those who don't get it, but it's still worth it. This week's parsha is called Acharei Mot-Kedoshim. We read two parshiot, two Torah portions, and they're in Leviticus, and they come after some really intense and tragic stories. So Acharei Mot means after the death of, and Kedoshim means holiness. And each one of them has their own intense content. There is some overlap. Kedoshim includes the holiness code of chapter 19 of the book of Vayikra of Leviticus. And Acharei Mot means after the death of the children of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu. They died just a few chapters ago. So in the aftermath of the death comes this next story. But the joke in yeshiva was based also on the next week's Torah portion, which is Emor. Emor is one of the parshiot, one of the Torah portions that happens in Leviticus 2. So if you read the three names of these parshiot in order, it goes Acharei Mot Kedoshim Emor. After the death, say holiness. And so the joke is, of course you wouldn't say the deepest holiness of someone else until after they died. That's what we do at funerals. You wait until someone dies to actually say how wonderful you think they are. And of course, that's both a joke and not at all a joke. I remember a sermon my father gave once for Yizkor, a moment of memory. He quoted a Mike and Mechanics song, The Living Years. And the chorus, it's a tremendously beautiful song about missing the chance to say to someone while they're alive how much they mean to you. And that's a very powerful thing to take into account this week, Acharei Mot, after the death of. So what I want to share is something that just happened while I was able to daven with some children. I was supposed to go in at a certain hour, but someone came in to talk to me about a need they had. And so I was late to go to the davening with the children, and there were other teachers there to make sure that it got started. And it occurred to me, number one, there's a precept, there's a mitzvah, there's a rule, haosek b'mitzvah patur mitzvah. When you're in the middle of a mitzvah, don't worry about doing another one. Do the mitzvah you're doing. Be intentionally present in the mitzvah you're doing, and the other one can wait. It's important. You should always be fully present in the mitzvah that you're doing. The other one is this, and I shared this with the children when I walked in. How amazing is it to be free? Freedom can mean so many different things to so many people, but freedom ultimately means the freedom to choose what I do with my time. So what an amazing gift it is to stand in this week's parsha, to stand in this week's Torah portion, which is after the death of Nadav and Avihu. And to think about that joke, Acharei Mot Kedoshim Emor, after death, say that someone's holy. No, I reject the joke. We should reject the joke. It's not funny at all. What we should say is, you are alive and I am free to make sure that in this time, this limited time that I have, I tell you of the beauty that I see in you. I tell you of the incredible things we can do together. In fact, I don't waste my time. I go do incredible things with this short life. No matter how many years we may be blessed to have, it's not forever. So instead of Acharei Mot Kedoshim Emor, how about we decide Kedoshim Emor? Let's say holy now. Let's make sure that we don't miss the chance to be fully occupied with being there for each other. So in this week, when we read the aftermath of the death of Nadav and Avihu, and we have a lot of laws, some of which are the most deeply troubling ones in the entire Torah, we take the time knowing that we are free to do so. We remain fully present in the mitzvah of reviewing Torah, and then we look up from the book or the scroll, and we are fully present with each other, knowing that there is no mitzvah bigger than being fully occupied with helping each other.